Good morning, everybody. Today we have got the excitement that, following our talk earlier in the week about Moses as a baby, we're going to continue that story as we look at the story of Moses and the burning bush. Moses and the burning bush. Can you believe it? That God spoke to Moses through a burning bush. Shall we take a look at the short animation and see what it says about God and his relationship that he wants with us? Let's take a look.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Moses. This is Moses.
Heyo.
Moses was an Israelite boy born in Egypt in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live.
Wait, huh?
The Israelites were slaves to the Egyptians. But God had a special plan for Moses,
Oh, eh?
and he spent his childhood in the palace of the Pharaoh. You see, when Moses grew up, he made a big mistake.
Uh-oh.
Pharaoh found out what Moses had done, and he tried to have Moses killed.
Ah!
So Moses ran away from Egypt. He stopped in the land of Midian, and 7 sisters came to the well to give water to their father's flock. Some shepherds came to drive them away,
Hey, you.
but Moses stood up for the women.
Hey. Ow.
Now these sisters were the daughters of the Midianite priest named Jethro. When Jethro heard what Moses did for his daughters, he sent for Moses. So Moses came to live among the Midianites, and he married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters.
Huh?
Meanwhile, back in Egypt, the old Pharaoh died, but he was replaced by a new Pharaoh who continued to treat the Israelites poorly.
Oh, man.
The Israelites cried out to God because of the terrible things that the Pharaoh made them do. God heard these people and knew it was time to act. One day, Moses was tending Jethro's flock when an angel of the Lord appeared to Moses through a burning bush that would not burn up.
Whoa.
Moses stopped to look at the bush, and he heard the voice of God say, "Moses, Moses."
Hello?
God then told Moses how sad he was because of the suffering of his people. He told Moses that he wanted to do something about it, and he wanted Moses to be the one to do it.
Oh, man.
But Moses did not think he was the right person to go. God said, "I will be with you."
Morning.
But Moses said that he wouldn't know the right thing to say to the people. So God said to tell the people that God himself had sent him and promised Moses that his plan would be fulfilled through Moses. But Moses still said to God that he did not think the people would believe him. So God said, "What is that in your hand?"
Oh, eh?
Moses said, "A staff." God told Moses to throw it on the ground.
Wow, okay.
Then God told Moses to catch it. God showed Moses another sign
Huh? Phew.
and told him to show these signs to the people if they did not believe what he said. Moses still didn't think he would have the right words to say. But God said that he himself was the one who made a man's mouth and gave him the ability to speak, so there was no need to worry. Yet even after all this, Moses said, "God, please send someone else." Then God got mad at Moses
Oops.
and said that he would send Moses' brother Aaron to speak for Moses. So Moses went back to his father-in-law and told him that he needed to go back to Egypt. Moses and his family started their journey back to Egypt, and Moses carried the staff of God in his hand, for this staff would be the tool God would use to demonstrate his awesome power to the Israelites and to the Egyptians.
This is a really exciting story, isn't it? Because it has so many elements to it. Right back at the beginning of this story, did you notice what happened? Moses, he made a mistake. Now, what happens when you make a mistake? In Moses' case, he ran away, didn't he? He ran away because he was scared of what Pharaoh would do to him. And he landed in the land of Midian. Now, even though he landed in the land of Midian, God, did he leave him? No, he didn't leave him. Because, did you know, we learn from this story that God, he gives second chances. So even though Moses made a mistake, God was still going to use him. Moses, he had a really kind heart. And did you see that even when he was at the well and he met the 7 ladies and the naughty shepherds came along and they tried to stop the ladies from feeding the sheep from their father Jethro, Moses, he stood up for them. That was a really kind thing to do, to stand up for those people that are being looked down upon. And Moses, he was rewarded for this. Jethro, the father of those daughters, he came and invited Moses to go and live with him, and he gave him one of his daughters to marry. So Moses went and lived with them for a few years. But God, he'd not forgotten all about Moses. God still had that plan he wanted, and he wanted to give Moses that second chance. Do you remember how God appeared to Moses? You're right if you remembered that he appeared to him in a burning bush. How would you feel if God appeared to you in a burning bush? Would you be going, oh, because you're so amazed with the fact that this bush is on fire and yet it's not burning down? I think I'd be really amazed with what's going on. I know I'd stand back and I'd be watching it a little bit like a bonfire thinking, wow, this is amazing. What is going to happen? What is God going to say to me? And God, he had a plan that he wanted to speak to Moses about. But what is the second thing that we learn from this story? We learn that we need to obey God without making excuses. Moses, he made so many excuses to God in the story, didn't he? When God said he wanted to free the Israelites and he needed Moses' help to do it, Moses came up with excuses. First, he said to him, I'm not the right person to go. And what did God say? God said, I will be with you. God was going to go with Moses. Then Moses said, but I don't know the right words that I'm going to say. And God said, tell the Israelites that I have sent you. Then Moses, he argued again and he said, but what if they don't believe me? And God, he said, I will give you things to show them that I have sent you. And do you remember what he did? Do you remember he took his staff and he made Moses throw it on the ground? And what did it become? It became a slithering snake. And then he did something with his hand and gave him an illness on his hand and then took it away. And he said, go to Egypt and actually you can show them these signs if they don't believe that I have sent you. You'd think that was the end of it, but no, Moses, he had another excuse to say. Yet again he said, but God, I won't have the right words to say. And God pointed at him and he got angry and he said, did I not give you that mouth on your face? I will give you the words to speak. And then God gave him Aaron, his brother, to go and be the words to speak for him. And Moses went to do as God had asked. In your life, I wonder if you've ever been asked to do something and you've argued because you've not wanted to do it. Did you know it says in the Bible, in Philippians 2, verses 14 to 16, it says, do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, in God. This is a really good scripture to hold on to, as it reminds us that actually, when we go about life, we need to listen to what we've been asked to do. And when God asks us to do something, we need to do it without complaining and arguing, knowing that He has our best interest at heart and He knows the plans He has for us. Shall we have a prayer to ask God into our lives to help remind us of those things that He has promised? Close your eyes if you'd like to. Dear God, thank you so much that you give us second chances. Thank you that you gave Moses a second chance even when he made a mistake. Please give us second chances when we make mistakes, when we stop and we say sorry for what we've done. Please help us to learn, like Moses did, that we need to obey you without excuses, and that we need to do everything without grumbling or arguing. Amen. I hope you've really enjoyed learning about God and Moses in the story, and knowing that, firstly, God, He will give you a second chance even when you make a mistake, that nothing will stop you from having that relationship with God. He will always have a plan for your life. And two, that you need to remember that God asks us to obey Him without grumbling or any excuses. I hope you have a fun week, and I'm really looking forward to next week sharing with you about Moses and the Red Sea and how it parted. How exciting! Have fun today.